In this video, I will be explaining two important OOPS concepts, that is, inheritance and polymorphism, using this bank system code. I will also show that what changes we need to make if we want to add a new type of transaction to the bank. First, let's start with the inheritance. Inheritance basically means one class can reuse and extend another classes. So, instead of writing the same code again and again, we create a base class that is a transaction and then reuse it. Now, in this code, transaction is the base class, and the withdraw transaction, deposit transaction, transfer transaction are the child classes, or these are all the derived classes that are inherited from the transaction. So, in the transaction class, things, the objects like amounts, success, executed, reverse, date stamps are written once in the base class and reused everywhere. So we can repeat the same logic in every transaction. Some key advantages of the inheritance are that we can reuse the code, we can write the common logic once and then reuse it. With this, our code is cleaner as there is less duplication and we are just calling it later on instead of writing the whole code. Easy maintenance as we can make changes in one place which can affect all the places where we have called that method or the class. Better structure as everything is organized. Polymorphism. Now let's talk about polymorphism. Uh, Polymorphism means one method can work with different types of objects. Like in this method, the bank accepts the parameter of type transaction. But the interesting part is we can pass deposit transaction, withdraw transaction, transfer transaction, and it still works. It works because we have override the execute method, that is we have made this in virtual in the base class and override it in the child classes like in here in the withdraw. So even though the bank calls the execute, the correct version runs depending on the object type. Advantages of polymorphism are that it is flexible as the same method works for many types. It is also extensible as it is easy to add new feature. It makes our code clearer as there is no need to write for the multiple methods and there is less coupling as in this code bank doesn't need to know the details. So, because of the inheritance and polymorphism, the bank stores all the transactions in one list. It doesn't care what type they are. It just calls execute and print. Uh, like here, it is calling execute and print. So the design is very flexible and scalable. Now, if now let's answer the second part. What changes are needed to add a new transaction type? For this, first we need to create a new class which will be inherited from the transaction. For example, we could create something like a new transaction and then we would override the methods from the base class that are execute method, rollback method, and print method. No changes are needed in the bank's execute transaction method. This is because of the polymorphism. It actually accepts the transaction type. We just update the menu and add a new method in the bank system to handle the user's input. So basically, this system is designed in a way that we can extend it without modifying existing code, which is a very important OOPS principle. So to summarize, inheritance helps us is reuse the code and avoid the duplication. Polymorphism allows one method to work with the multiple transaction types, and because of this design, adding new transaction type becomes very easy. That is why this bank system is flexible and well structured. Thank you.